All right, enough of that. All right, Alan Hahn from Newsday, the Knicks, covers the Knicks, I should say. The Knicks Fix, of course, the great blog on Newsday.com, is with me now. Alan, how are you today?
What's going on, BT? I'm actually just tweeting now that I'm on the air with you.
Yeah, why don't you wait till the interview's over so nobody can hear us?
You know what I'm saying? I'm slacking, buddy. You know what? I'm trying to pack for a trip here. You know,
Where are you going?
I don't sit in a studio all day.
Where are you going?
Well, where's the Summer League, BT? It's in Vegas.
Oh, they were going away with the family.
I wish. You know what? I wish. But maybe next month.
You're not going to bring the kids to the craps table?
No, not yet. My son's getting it, though. I got him counting cards. He's getting there.
Hey, speaking of the Summer League, Eddy Curry summoned by the organization to head out there. Very interesting. I know they want to monitor his workout, so that's not even the question. But, I mean, from what you've heard, Alan, I mean, how much weight has he actually lost? Where is he physically right now?
Well, I talked to one of his trainers who's a Long Island-based guy, and, he told me he wasn't the one that's got him in the diet and fitness side of the thing. That guy's name is Tommy Weatherspoon. He's a California guy. With this guy I spoke to yesterday, his name's Jerry Powell from Long Island, and he's handling a lot of Eddy's on-the-court stuff. He's got him doing basketball stuff, and he said that from what he understands, it's about 46 pounds that he's lost so far with this program that Weatherspoon's got him on. And the Knicks, obviously, they want to see him. And from what I'm told, the Knicks basically told Eddy, we want you out in Vegas Sunday, and we want you working out with the Summer League team. He's not going to play in any of the games, obviously. But I think the idea is this is the middle of the summer. He's been in this program now about 6 weeks. They want to see what he looks like. They want to see that he's put in the work. The idea is that they're finally keeping up on a player that clearly needs to be kept up on throughout the summer. The one thing that Powell told me that I had in the story today, that there were some summers, he said, that Eddy didn't do anything.
No, that's nice to hear. Nothing, huh?
Isn't that amazing? But yeah. That's where they're at. So, for a couple of years now, fans have been, saying, how come they're not on top of this guy, making sure he shows up at training camp in shape and ready to go. I think we're seeing that this summer, and that's evidence of it.
I'm curious, and great reporting on your part, but I'm curious, Alan, Isaiah Thomas had so much invested in Eddy Curry. Why didn't Isaiah Thomas ever think of this?
Well, Isaiah Thomas did ordered his people to keep up on Eddy and Jerome James and some of the other guys that were the conditioning issues. But there's only so much you can do. I think when it's someone outside of the organization that doesn't, I think this is a different situation than Knicks. Eddy's agent, Leon Rose, I believe, is involved in this. And when your agent is telling you better get in shape, and when your house is in foreclosure and you're having all kinds of financial problems and your contract's up in 2 years and people are saying around the league that you have zero value, I think reality starts to set in, and I think it's about time. Eddy is 26 years old now. He's not the 19-year-old out of high school that he was back in Chicago. This is a guy that needs to start taking responsibility for his career, and the Knicks are, and his agent are trying to help him by, keeping these people on top of him 24/7 rather than having a Knicks staffer that can only kind of check up on him once in a while. There's 12 players or 15 players. You can't have a strength coach at every single player's house every single day. And I think, this is a case where they have a guy and a chef, a dietitian with him every day.
Interesting. Alan Hahn from Newsday is on the show. Al, we hear a lot of different things, and a lot of it is, let's be honest, BS from coaches, and they can't divulge too much, and nor should they. But Mike D'Antoni, knowing his system the way you do, covering this team every night, and being around the team at practice, and just knowing the personnel and his philosophies, do you think that Mike D'Antoni values an in-shape, quick Eddy Curry? Do you think he'd flourish in this system?
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that, because although a lot of people will initially say the guy's never proven that he will ever stay in shape. So the thing the Knicks should do is get him in shape, get him playing well, and then get him out of here, before he loses his conditioning again. But the times I have talked to Mike and even some of the guys on the coaching staff about Eddy, the one thing they say is that he does have, like you just said, the capability to play in his system, because even though he looks like a lumbering 6'11" guy near 300 pounds, he's actually pretty nimble for a big guy. And when he was a kid, he was in this group of tumblers, I don't know if you know anything about tumbling, but it's not.
Was it like the Nick City Kids?
It's very similar to that, although, it certainly isn't, dancing as much as it's performing. It's a lot of acrobatics and a lot of gymnastics type stuff.
Eddy was a gymnast?
Believe it or not, in that, in that sense, not pommel horse kind of stuff, but
yeah.
he was doing, but he's nimble, and a lot of the guys that I talk to, teammates of his and stuff, they say, like, the guy, he can do some incredible things, a high kick, like a karate kick, and, can really get off the ground. So it's a matter of just wanting to do it. And I think, the way Mike plays with a lot of pick and roll stuff and a lot of movement, a guy like Eddy is difficult to cover if he's moving. The problem with Eddy is that when he gets stationary and nails his feet to the floor, all you have to do is hold position, wait for him to barrel you over and take a charge. So, I think they're going to try to see, and that's why they're really putting a lot of effort into this summer. Get him in shape to where he's 100%, and then see what he looks like. Because then you can tell. You can't tell if the guy's not in shape.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, Al, this is very important. I see where you're going, but let me tell you what I would do if I'm the Knicks, okay? And I want to tell you, then you tell me what you would do.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would do exactly as they're doing. I would whip him into shape. I would be on him night and day. I would just try to motivate him to an athletic height that he's never seen, maybe since high school, and then I dump him. And I'll tell you why. Because you can change somebody's body. You can't change somebody's heart.
Absolutely agree with you.
And his commitment to the game. And I don't trust his professional commitment enough to stay in that shape.
You're absolutely right. But again, if you're trying to sell a product, all right, to someone, you're trying to sell a company that you have, and you know this company is a dog. You know it's failing. But you're doing the best you can to prop it up and get it to look as good as it can before you sell it to somebody. The last thing you're going to do is sell it at its worst. Okay? Because you get no value for it. I mean, I asked a number of GMs around the league about Eddy. I said, if he's in shape, does he have any value? And one guy actually just, one word, nope. That's what he said to me.
If he's in shape.
Yeah, if he's in shape. So that's the problem the Knicks are facing, is that, if you're trying to shop this guy around and you're finding that no one has interest in him, all right, you have to make him look as good as possible. It's the same thing as like Zach Randolph. I mean, they made Zach Randolph. They put him in that system. Zach showed up in shape, to his credit. He played very well in that first month of the season, and they were able to find a bidder for him, and they moved him out. I think the same thing has to really work here for Eddy. But again, if you can't find anyone to take Eddy's contract, you have to get your value out of him somehow. So by doing this, it's, basically, again, you can't have him stay where he was and just continue to be lazy and just accepting the fact that he's, out of shape. He'll never really be in shape. You can't allow that to happen for a guy that young. And you almost want to see him take responsibility. But I don't disagree with you. I think the mental side of it is huge. And what many people around the league that have known Eddy say is that, he loves video games, but they don't know if he loves basketball. It's just he happens to be 6'11". If he was 6'6", he certainly wouldn't be a basketball player. And even though that's still a pretty good height for a basketball player, he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's 6'11" is what made him a basketball player, not the fact that he loves to play basketball.
Well, how about this, too? I mean, yeah, he'd be playing video games, but he wouldn't even be playing basketball video games.
But you know what the funny thing is I always wondered that. He plays a lot of video games. Does he play any basketball video games?
What was your favorite video game growing up?
Oh, come on, Tecmo Bowl.
Okay, non-sports.
Oh, no.